Ooh.
Hi, Lizzie. We just read your message. Having discussed the book thoroughly, we just read your message, and I got to the bit where you said that you look forward to seeing the recording. So here it is. I agree with you, Lizzie, about the characters in there were so realistic. I was convinced I was reading a true story. I lost sight of the fact that it was fiction. It was very, very realistic, very upsetting, very worrying. Sorry, Mary.
On the Radio 2 book club, somebody had just finished the book, and they said they found it disappointing because it was stereotypical. And I thought, well, hang on a second, like it's not stereotypical, is it? I mean, to me it's I don't know, I've not lived it, but it's true to life as far as I understand the situation there. So I thought that was a bit of a strange comment, really.
Even if you talk about the men, you've got the husband, the wife beater, You've got Tariq. Was it Tariq, the young man with the one leg?
Yeah.
They were completely different. You've got the father. Man, but actually he was quite loving, and in the end regretted and was quite loving.
Yeah.
You've got the guy who ran the orphanage. I mean, none of those men are very stereotypes.
And the imam as well.
Layla's dad.
The imam, yeah.
The imam was, he was a good man, wasn't he? Mariam thought the world of him.
I'll have to jump off now, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed listening in.
Yeah, well, I've not commented because I didn't read it this time. I read it a long time ago, and it's the one I tell everybody that they must read because I found it really profound. So it was just interesting to hear what everybody else thinks of it. But yeah, you have to be in the right frame mentally, I think, to read it. And I didn't think so I thought I'm not reading it again yet.
No, it is harrowing.
Yeah, it is harrowing. Okay. Next time.
Lovely to see you.
See you later.
See you next time. Bye.
It was a very apt time to read it, I thought.
Yes.
What's going on.
Yeah. I did think that the reading of it now is very much coloured by the politics and what's going out currently. But I think if I'd read it when it was first published, the ending would have offered more hope for the future.
Yeah.
Because the situation seems hopeless, doesn't it?
It seems like it's sort of circular thing. It seems like it'll go back to
You had kind if you stopped sort of before this kicked off again, you would have thought, God, at least things have moved on a little bit, and hopefully there's a way out of it and a way forward and a better thing for future for women. But now you think, God, it's just going to go straight back to how it was, isn't it? Or you think that. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, to comment when you're not.
But also, I suppose what happened before was that it dissolved into kind of civil war almost between the different tribes, and I suppose I'm conflicted because I'm thinking the Taliban is awful, and the kind of way that women are going to have to live is awful, but if they get their act together, if they make some concessions to other countries they want funding from, if they're able to, and they can get some stability, I guess for ordinary people it would be preferable to the sort of different tribes firing random stuff all over the place and not knowing who to be, just being picked on because they think you're part of that other tribe and things like that, and the randomness of it. And then I think what really struck me in it was you sort of sometimes fall into the trap of imagining that everybody is either in favor of the Taliban or not, that they're quite political people. And of course, they're just like in Britain, there are people who are very politically connected, and there are other people who just, I got people at work.
It's almost like it's out of their control, isn't it?
Really?
They've got no control over it. It is what it is, isn't it?
And so basically, they're poor people quite often, and they're just surviving, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's not, and
they're doing what they know, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily deep down bad people. They're just doing what they know, what they believe to be true, what they believe to be right. And we believe it to be wrong. But
you do hope
I'm sure we're right.
Will take more from Tarek than he did from his dad, but you know, his dad was a big influence on the young boy. I can't remember his name, I think, didn't it? So, you know, is that going to live with that young boy? Is he just going to be the same as his dad?
Yeah, you've just got to hope that the respect that he pays to women will rub off on his son. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's so many aspects made you think. And also, I mean, there was mental health came into it again, because you've got the mum, her Marian's mum, who, you know, even, you know, when her daughter left, that was it. She just completely lost it and found herself, and it's just awful. Because that's, again, you kind of think that if you've lived your whole life under that regime with men thinking you begin to believe you're inferior, so therefore you'd accept your lot. She didn't accept her lot, did she? And she did accept her rejection, and she had very strong feelings about it. And then when she felt her daughter had deserted her, she completely went. But she obviously, I mean, she must have experienced those wives as well, mustn't she?
Yes.
Presumably.
Yeah, I must admit I hadn't. That was something I didn't expect. I did not expect the mum to kill herself. Miriam's kill herself.
No, I had to reread it because I sort of missed it, and I thought, why is he grabbing her? And why is he? And then I thought, oh my God, she's and you do think if there must have been people that then were refugees and then came back to the country, and now they're trying to get out again. But of course, the ones that get out might be the more affluent ones. The ones that can, the poorer ones, can't afford to travel at all, can they? So they're just gonna hole up and see what happens. Can you imagine being a girl that's been, you know, getting to the point of secondary school, and now the whole future that they were imagining has just gone? I don't know. And I went to work a few weeks ago and they said that on the news that women were marching in Kabul, and I was just thinking, oh my God, how brave, how unbelievable. Would I do that? And all the women that I was talking to said I would.
No, I don't know if I would, and I'd love to feel so passionate about something like the suffragettes or something like this that I would just put my life on the line to try and sort of defend it or preserve it. But I don't know if I would have the nerve to do it. I really don't. I don't know if I would risk my life. I don't know if I wouldn't just be one of them that would just say, you're all right, I'll just stop in the house. Don't worry about me.
I've marched a lot in this country for different things, but you know, that's this
not life-threatening marches.
I know I'm not going to be locked up, and I'm not going to be.
Once upon a time, you wouldn't have been locked up. Now you might.
Oh well, there is that. They're changing that rule, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends what you do.
Well, are we moving more towards Afghanistan? Given what we've discussed so far about how, you know, the discussions that take place surrounding women in this country that aren't so far removed, and now we're being banned from protest.
I think it's like racism. When the Me Too movement happened, everybody thought, oh, things are going to change. And then gradually you begin to get people saying, oh, you're just being woke, or you're just being this, you're just being that. And it begins to be undermined. And it's a bit like in previous times, if you were being a feminist, suddenly feminism was a dirty word. And I used to say to people, yes, of course I'm a feminist, because it was kind of like a good thing to be. And it was kind of obvious for a young person that was trying to stand up to blokes whistling and pinching their bums and things like that used to happen. And still does, but of course I stopped realizing it's happening because I'm older. It doesn't happen to me anymore.
I was going to say, really, you still get your bottom pinned?
No, I don't. So I thought things had changed until that, and I was thinking I'm appalled at what young people have got to put up with now. But that's happened with racism too. You know, they kind of turn around and say, "Oh, you're just ranting about something that isn't true," and all this sort of racial appropriation stuff and all that. So I think that's what they do. They undermine your sort of arguments. They make you feel like you're being some kind of weird strident woman. Like you say, Sarah, you know, if you're going to go around in a miniskirt, what do you expect? Well, I expect to be able to wear a miniskirt.
Absolutely.
Because you're wearing shorts, you know. don't know. But you know, I feel conflicted because I do remember an age when I would have, as a young woman, I would have said, you know, why are you going around? And I am concerned personally with young women now, looking at images on Facebook and wherever and Instagram, and feeling that they have to look a particular way. And the particular way they have to look, in my view, is rather sexualized at a younger age than I'd like to see. But you know, I
shared a post on Facebook last week, I think, about women, about, you know, don't do this, don't wear that, you must wear that, you're a slut if you do that, and you're a prude if you do that, and we just cannot win. You know, we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
Did you see the post?
Difficult one, I think. I saw that, and I do think that's difficult because I don't approve. Like, there's no way I would let my daughter walk out the house wearing stuff that some of these people walk out the house wearing, and it's not because I think they're asking for it. I just think it's inappropriate, and genuinely don't think you put your clothes on when you go out. That's what you do. You know, you don't go out to the house wearing a bra for everybody to see you. I just don't approve of it. But then I am a bit of a prude, I think.
I also see it as more liberating not to feel you have to do that, I suppose. So, you know, and this is one of those things, coming back to that history program I was talking about, in the Edwardian age, I think it was the late Victorian, it was really frowned on to wear makeup because that was something that whores did, or people or actresses. So they used to sort of very subconsciously do a little bit of rouge or something. But the young lasses in class, they were saying, actually, it's quite nice just having your hair natural and not having to draw on your eyebrows and put your mask on. And they're quite young children. I mean, you know, they're 11, 12-year-olds. And I'm thinking, you know, that they wouldn't normally leave the house without putting this makeup mask on. And what a burden.
That's what they're going to be like when they're 60. God, like, if you don't go out looking like that with makeup on at that age, what would you be like when you're old?
I know. And then what do they do when they meet a partner? Do they wait till the partner goes to sleep and then go and take the mask off and get up early and put it on again?
Put it on again.
Mrs. Maisel did. Did you ever watch that, the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the comedy? She did that. So she was she would go to bed with all her makeup on, looking really glam. The minute he fell asleep, she'd go and put rollers in her hair, she'd peel off her eyelashes, put face cream on, and honestly, it was absolutely hilarious. And then she'd have an alarm set to be up before him, and into the bathroom she'd go, clean all the cream off her face, rollers out, eyelashes back on, and back into bed looking absolutely gorgeous. It was so funny.
You see, I mean, I think it's beginning to creep into young men too, that they have to wear their gel and they have to do their hair and they are beginning to wear makeup as well. And so if they've got slightly bad skin or spotty skin, they'll be, you know, putting on this mask. And because I haven't really worn makeup all my life, it just seems like such a massive cost and burden to me. I just could not be asked, and I don't see that. That's
the time. Who's got that time to invest in that?
Well, people have got a perfect right to do it, and I would defend the right to do it. But it's not, you know. And one of the things that a parent has said to me is that they're expressing their individuality, and I think, well, no, they're not. They all look the same.
Yeah,
they've all the same eyebrows.
Yeah,
and it's not. It's
they're hiding behind it, aren't they?
I'm going to have to go. So,
yeah.
Oh, lovely to see you, Maggie.
Yeah,
see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. No, when I worked at the college, beauty therapist learners, a lot of them arrived at the college to do a beauty therapy course, and they wore thick makeup. They'd got their eyelashes were like spiders. And, you know, you would think, well, gosh, what do you really look like?
Yeah.
And then they would discover that actually in the salon, your face has got to be clean. You are not wearing makeup. You're not wearing eyelashes. You go in au naturel into the salon to treat your clients. And some of them would leave the court. They actually had mental health conditions that they really could not bear to be without their makeup. That was their protection. And they wouldn't remove it.
Stage further, and you've got, 20-somethings doing Botox. You can't need Botox at 20. God, like, where do you go from that?
But I know there was a
vote. Got a wrinkle at 20, have you?
They had a vote on the radio where they were asking men whether they preferred their women with their makeup on or off, and something like 65% preferred them with their makeup on. And I thought, now this is where we've got to. And I just thought, you can't blame women, but women need to stop too. Because basically, it's about women's rights. It's about, a man doesn't have to, so why should we have to?
Absolutely. If I wear makeup, I do. I
still got to love him no matter what he looks like.
But then it's that old thing, isn't it? In the animal kingdom, it is the male that has all the colour. It's the male that does all the dressing up. Why do we reverse it in our world? Why are we not saying to the men, get your makeup on, love, and I'll just sit here with my belly out?
So if you go back then to Afghanistan, they're not wearing makeup. No, they're hiding themselves from other men. They're reserving their face just for their husband. Is that better than our men that are saying, you've got to make up, otherwise I won't love you anymore?
About makeup, we could go further, about shaving legs and I don't know why do we need to shave our legs and underarms when men don't? So.
Well, it's funny because I think it was Strictly we were watching, I was saying to George, all the men have got shaved chests, so men are having to do that too.
Yes, yeah.
I remember having this conversation with some young people at work and young women that had just started at work, and I remember thinking it was rather inappropriate, but basically they were all talking about going to the beautician to sort out their down below's hair, and I was thinking, oh my God, I am so glad that in my generation we didn't have to worry about that. And I don't think my husband would be at all worried about it, but young men now expect these carefully trimmed and shaped pubes, and they think that's normal. And I suppose maybe because they're watching porn more as well, maybe.
I
don't know. So so young women, really young, sort of 13, 14-year-olds, are beginning to go to beauticians and regularly get, like you say, legs shaved, armpits shaved, pubes shaved, eyebrows done. What's that about? it
is quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we need to...
And it is a world that's created by men. I mean, I stopped colouring my hair a while back and set up a page called, I don't know whether any of you know it, called Going Grey Gracefully.
Yeah.
Just to no longer have to pay to colour my hair.
I think I was lucky because my mum never wore makeup and never did her hair, so I never dyed my hair ever in my whole life. So I just feel so liberated because of that.
Well, I feel liberated now. I've grown all my colour out and I'm just going grey naturally. And actually, I love my highlights. They're natural highlights. And actually, they're quite trendy. Some young girls are paying to have silver in their hair, aren't they?
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think, if women feel happier and more confident because they got dyed hair, fair enough. But it's just as long as you don't have to. So I kind of feel like
the difference
when we're judging other countries and other men's attitudes, we also need to look at our own country's attitudes and what we're doing and contributing to it and what men are doing as well. Because I think women can also, like the wives in the programme, we can the worst judges of other women are women.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We got to stop doing it, really. And I'm probably doing it now by saying what I've been saying. I don't know. But no, it was a very good book. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I hesitate to say enjoyed because there were bits of it that were quite painful.
It was a difficult read, but it was a very, very good and interesting book.
Yeah,
and a worthwhile read. And I think Alison's right in what she said, that everybody should read it, really.
Yeah, I agree.
After having so many friends from all over the world, and I had some from India and from some like Arabic countries, and listening their stories, the family stories, I think it's a lot of true in this book as well. A friend of mine from India said that her parents got married when they were 11,
Oh.
I said 11. What they were playing in the, with the toys, no, they were like married, but they didn't live together until her mom got her first period.
So then
they moved together.
Right.
So so, and it was.
Were they both the same age, or was he a bit older?
I think he was a bit older, not much though. Not
he wasn't a 45-year-old man.
No,
he was about girl.
No, he was, I think, about 16. So it wasn't like the huge age gap, but even though 11 and 16, and they were already like.
It is a big gap at that age, isn't it? There is a 11-year-old a long way off a 16-year-old, but it gets smaller as you get older.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, it was already set up by parents. They didn't have anything to say. So, and another friend of mine from Arabic countries, they said that they are better than women, and they don't understand European girls because they are so liberated. So there are men like this, I'm not saying everyone, but there are men like it with the stereotypes, like.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
when I went to Dubai several years ago now, but we went to Dubai, and there was an opportunity to have breakfast and it was at a cultural center, and it was to learn about the Arabic way of life and their way of living, and they talked about polygamy. It was a woman presenting, and she talked about choice. She did talk about the fact that the women who wear burqas choose to wear burqas. They choose to, they at home they dress how they want. It's just out in public that they wear their burqas.
Yeah.
And she made it sound absolutely perfectly acceptable. I came away thinking, oh, it's fine then. They choose to do that. They're not being forced to. They're not forced into their marriages. And
there are women that and young girls that prefer to here. But if you remember when Lara went out into the street and she was wearing a burqa, although she was worried about tripping over it, she actually quite liked the anonymity.
She did. She liked it, yeah.
So there is a
even Miriam as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you wear your masks, do you feel like a bit more anonymous and you feel a bit more?
No, I hate them.
Do you? I find I'm used to them now, and I quite like them. There you go.
My nose, whenever I wear one, I feel I can't breathe, and by the time I take it off, my nose is really blocked.
All right. I know. I
hate them.
Right.
I wear them. I have to wear them. I accept that I've got to do it, but I don't like them at all. And no, I don't enjoy the anonymity. I feel like I can't hear and I can't see because I've got this going on.
Well, I've been to a couple of meetings where I felt like going like that sort of thing, but I've been able to go and try and I keep thinking, will it show in my eyes?
In your eyes, exactly. I think it definitely shows in my eyes.
I'm going,
Yeah.
And also, sometimes you feel like you've got to smile all the time, but then under your mask they don't know what you're doing, so you don't have to bother smiling.
Well, no, I had that thought yesterday because a lady walked towards me wearing a mask, and she smiled at me, and I knew she smiled because all her eyes creased up in the corners. And I could see that she was smiling at me, and I smiled back at her, and I thought to myself, gosh, I hope my eyes also crease up.
Yeah, well, if it's
otherwise she'll just think that I was just going.
Yeah, if it's genuine, I think you can see it. If it's a false smile, it is probably just going to be in your lips, isn't it?
Yes,
but a genuine smile, it will be your whole face.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I remember I was wearing one of these ones that are for deaf people, so it has like a panel in it, so you can see my mouth. And I had to keep reminding myself she could see my mouth because I've obviously been, because I think I've sort of relaxed with my mouth. So I haven't worried too much about my expression. It's weird, but yeah, there you go. No, I think, but there are some young women who see it as a fashion choice, and they choose to be modest with their religion, and they want to carry on wearing them. Liz would have been interesting on this because she defends it sort of very much in London. I don't feel quite the same about it. But we've had a few arguments about that, and about, whether it's, I feel it's about choice personally, and I think if you're made to do it,
I think it's about choice, and if you want to, that's fine. I mean,
yeah,
some days I'd love
this
to just
is what the
get up and shove one on and go to
centre.
shops.
The cultural centre in Dubai, this is what the point they put across, that it was all choice. They didn't have to wear a burqa, they chose to wear a burqa. They didn't have to enter into a marriage, a polygamous marriage, they chose to. And yes, they were all friends with each other, and nothing bad happened. And I believed them until I read, well, not until I read that book, until I heard other stuff.
I mean, it's different shades, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit like if you have a program, there have been programs on telly, talking to different women that have chosen the life of a whore, or a sex worker, or whatever they want to call it, and have basically said, I earn a lot of money and I find it fine. But what you're not actually delving into is why women make that choice, and looking at the amount of women that haven't got any choice, or that have such low self-esteem that they don't mind being used in that way. And you also fundamentally need to sort of ask the women and men that justify it, is this what you'd want for your daughter? Is this what you'd want for your sister? Is this what you'd want for your mother? Is this what you'd want for you? Whatever. And I mean, there have been men that have said to me I remember when I was 25, and said, why don't we legalize it? If women want to do it, they can earn a lot of money. And I remember saying to him, your wife's pregnant at the moment, do you want your daughter to take that up as a profession? And he was like, oh, I don't mean my daughter. And I was saying, well, if you think it's justifiable and it's a good thing and it should be legalized, you have to seriously think it could be a career for my daughter. And if you think it shouldn't, and it would be demeaning to her, then why isn't it demeaning to other women? But he hadn't thought, because people don't think about it being them, do they?
No.
Even if somebody is justifying it, I guess. But I agree with you, Sarah. I mean, I've seen programs on polygamy in sort of in Utah, in the Mormons, the religion, Mormons religion, where they're absolutely saying it works fine. But then I remember an interviewer going there. Who's the tall sort of guy that goes in and asks questions?
I know who you mean, Louis.
Oh, the guy with the glasses, Louis. What's his face?
Louis Theroux. That's it.
Louis Theroux, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember, he there was a family where quite clearly the women were jealous of each other and the attention that they got, and how many times the husband went to each of the different wives and things like that. And it obviously wasn't the most happiest sort of place on earth, even though that was what they were trying to put across. But also, it comes back to that thing at the beginning I was saying about, why would men want it to be like that? Because the husband was having to religiously be really fair about how much time he spent with each wife. I mean, what a fag. You have to have a timetable of who you go to and how often and how much you smile to one, and how affectionate you sound to each one. I mean, obviously the guy in our story couldn't care less, about being fair one way or another, but a lot of people want a quiet life, wouldn't they?
I mean, whether it's part of our cultural conditioning, I just think, is it because we're conditioned that way that I see it that a man and a woman, a sexual relationship is based on a loving relationship. And if there is no, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, how can you love more than one person? How can you?
Yeah, and I would think, but you're right. Is it just how we're conditioned?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I've always sort of, like Faye's married now, and she's only had like one partner, and she's got a child. But I've always said to her, don't, you don't have to do marriage and children first. You could do children and marriage, or not get married. It doesn't matter. Don't think that because it's something, a route that people do, that I think you have to do that. As long as you're happy with who you're with, then I don't care whether you get married or you don't get married. It doesn't matter. But I still don't think you could love more than one person.
No.
I don't
understand that.
I think you can fall out of love with somebody, but you know, that happens, doesn't it?
And love again. Yeah, definitely.
Move on. But
yeah,
I don't think you could sort of
simultaneously love more than one person.
If there was an option of the woman being in that situation of the Mormons where you can have more than one husband, I definitely wouldn't want that.
I spoke with I spoke with one Muslim guy about why women are not allowed to have more than one husband, and he said because they wouldn't know who the child, who is the father of the child. That's why. And
that's a lame excuse.
Yeah. So
what
did you tell him we've got DNA now?
Yeah. And you know, does it matter? Because if you're
all living in the same house, so what?
Yeah, exactly. If you're all living there and you know you are the mother and they're your partners. I mean, I don't know how it works in the other way around. Do the women just have their own children, or is it just a family?
Oh, perhaps this could be our next book that we write.
Right. Should we ask George Clooney if he wants to come in on the experiment, girl?
Right, you be. I'm going to have to go to my family Zoom.
Yeah, we should go. Oh, it's been great. It was a fabulous book. Yeah, it was harrowing. And anybody listening in, read it.
It's well worth reading.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I now want to read Kite Runner. I'll add Kite Runner.
Read that. I think that's different, but just as horrible.
I've got a feeling I might have read that one, but there's one after as well that he's written, isn't there?
I don't know.
World of Beautiful Places or something like that. I think I bought it.
Well, he can definitely tell a story.
I mean, he is from Afghanistan, so
yes, he is. Yeah,
he's got the insight.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Liz, sorry, I only recorded the last half. It was still the discussion was still as good. even
well recovered, Sarah. Well recovered.
Right. Speak to you all soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Good night.